They say motherhood is a journey, but let's be honest, sometimes it feels more like a roller coaster with no seatbelt. I bet you're like me, wondering why babies, or teens in my case, don't come with instruction manuals. Welcome to This Incredible Mom Life, the podcast that celebrates the beautiful chaos, quiet wins, messy moments, and everyday miracles of being a mom. I'm your host, Demi, wellness coach, mom of 3 boys, and a passionate believer that you don't have to live at the mercy of PMS, burnout, or exhaustion. Join me every week as we hear the craziest and most unbelievable mom stories. I'll be sharing the huge accomplishments and triumphs of both our moms and their kids. We'll giggle, cheer on the kids, and discuss obstacles and lessons learned along the way. If you are struggling to be the best mom you can be, how open-minded are you to booking a free call with me? You don't have to live at the mercy of your cycle, and you definitely don't have to do it alone. Give yourself permission to let me be part of your support system. I believe that you weren't meant to just survive motherhood. You were meant to thrive in it. Hello, we are here again for another episode of This Incredible Mom Life, and I have another super mom guest with me today. Kendall Concini is a Maryland-based children's author and mental health advocate, and the creator of Mom's Cloud and the Beach Adventure. She wrote this story as a parent navigating depression with the goal of giving families a simple, age-appropriate way to talk about emotions without fear or blame. Through storytelling, conversation prompts, and visual tools, her work supports emotional literacy, connection, and the idea that it's okay to not be okay, especially within families. Thank you, Kendall, for taking time out of your busy day to be here with me.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Of course, this will be fun. I'm excited to hear about your book. So let's get started and tell us who you are mom to.
So I have a wonderful 4-year-old Alma and a 2-year-old son, Max.
Nice. And I'm sure they're keeping you very busy at this age. So tell us a story about them.
So I was trying to figure out what story to tell because I feel like as a mom you can just instantly come up with a million. And I felt like what really brought me to following you has been a lot of the wellness aspects. So talking about mom health and PCOS, and you did all of the informative videos. And as a mom, it's really hard to try to separate the health stuff and the anxieties behind a lot of like autoimmune stuff and not impacting my kids with any, of the language we grew up with too, good fat foods, bad foods, things like that. But my kids are in the delightful, like food motivated ages. And so it is very much, I was excited that my son wakes up and runs to me and he's like, Mom, Mom, Mom. And I'm like, oh, these moments. But he gets there and he's immediate snack. And I'm like, okay, you've been up for all of he wakes up to eat and you like hear him. And it's almost like if we can't find him, we can crinkle a bag. So
Yes.
yeah. And one day, it was so cute, and I'm still upset with how smart she was, but we were playing hide and seek, and it was me and my son versus my husband and daughter, and we had the best hiding spot, and we are hiding, and they can't find us. They can't find us. I was like, we're going to win. And my daughter goes, who wants a snack? And there goes my son, me. I was like, you cheater. But they just know that it's that food motivation, and it's been fun to enjoy the stories in those moments and not stress about what eating means to them in relation to what's going on with my health, and just know that they are forever eating hungry children.
Oh, just
I
wait.
asked, does I know our like budget went up. Like my son, when we go shopping, we get a bushel of bananas for him and then like a bushel for the family because that's his food. And my daughter gets like her box of bars and we get our box of bars to share. And so we're already like a little bit there. And it's interesting. I asked my husband, like, well, what would you say about the kids? And he's like, oh no, the food stuff. Like we when we go places, we sometimes like take pictures of us eating, And then when we get to a friend's house and my kids are immediately like, I'm hungry. I'm like, look, we literally timestamp. We ate 20 minutes ago. Like I feed my children. I do. I promise. It's just they know you have certain snacks we don't have. So they go in. And my daughter, she has great language, but she hasn't learned the difference between like, I'm hungry and I want like dessert. And so she'll go somewhere and she'll be like, I'm so hungry. And people are like, why are you like saying no to feeding your child? I'm like, no, no, no. She means she wants like another dessert. Like we already ate a full, well-cooked dinner. She had a cookie. She thinks you have more cookies. That's the language breakdown. So it's been that incredible shift of trying to kind of feed them and also focus on the health stuff for me. And they're pretty good about like learning like mom doesn't want to eat that or like mom can't eat that and kind of navigating it to be like, no, it's okay if you eat all this stuff. I just can't. And so that's been also really nice in their empathy for me.
That's so fun. And it's so funny that you mentioned the bag crinkling because I have teenagers. I have three teenage boys now, and my middle son, he loves just chocolate chips, like plain, and I throw them into their pancakes and their chocolate chip muffins and things like that. So when he hears that bag, he comes running, and he'll grab a whole handful of them, and then he'll just like leave. I'm like, you're like a little cat. How they hear the food opener and then come. But
Well, the library, they teach sign language. And so when they were little, we always taught them more for more food when you're doing the eating. And one of the first times we go to the library, they do the more you get together. And they kept going more. And my son would be like, snacks, snacks. I was like, no, no, no. The word is used for more than just food. And so we would have to like pre-feed him before a library class because I'm like, the second he sees more, he's just going to be like, I know what that word means.
yeah.
So,
Yep. And we did that too with the baby sign language. I remember we had taught them more and all gone. So
mhm.
it was like the two, I guess I have more food or no, it's done and it's time to finish. That's so fun. Now you are an author of children's
Mhm.
books. So talk a little bit about what you do.
Yep. So before I had kids, I struggled with depression and I always kind of worried how that would turn out in parenting. And so I wanted to be a parent, but didn't know emotionally to be ready to do it. And so when we decided to kind of go for it and postpartum hit and everything came, um, my daughter's language took off very early. And so we also knew we were going to have another, and postpartum was hard. And so I was sort of like, how do we develop a language to tell her mom's not crying because of you, mom's not needing to walk away because of you. And so it started with this little like cloud pillow where I would show her, mom has a cloud and it's shady, and mom just needs a minute, and you're in the sunshine, but mom needs a minute. And so it was a bedtime story. And from there, just kind of grew into being our thing. And I would always say, like, I'm going to write this down for her so she can remember that this is what we talked about together all the time. And then I had some really bad health stuff happen with the autoimmune, and I was just constantly like fixated on it. I was like on Reddit and reading everything and watching PCOS videos and I was like, what's going on? And my husband was like, let's try and get a hobby shift. And so the hobby shift was because I was so depressed about the health stuff. I was using the story a lot more with her and saying it's not you, it's mom's health stuff. And so I started saying, okay, well, let me really shift into that. And so I wrote the book down and I decided like I'm going to go share this because as I'm struggling with all of these things and I'm looking for a way to talk to her, I couldn't find anything that really just said, mom's having a cloudy day and it's not your fault. And so I decided to just kind of go for publishing it and bringing it all together. And then in that, it really helped me to start to open up with people about like having cloudy days instead of making excuses. And from there, even the health stuff to say, well, hey, you know how like I don't go out to eat or do things like that. Like it's actually a cloudy day because of the health stuff. And so it's been a really great shift to like the mental health advocacy of what is going on behind the scenes and behind the smiles of parenting, of like what we think we have to be on all the time for, and just talking through like, my daughter won't tell you I have depression because we didn't use that language yet. But she will say, Mom gets a cloud, and that's sadness. And so she can know and recognize when to hold space there.
I love that. And it's like a nice little visual, right? For especially for
Mhm.
that age where they may not understand an
Mhm.
emotion, right? But if you can say, "Oh, there's a cloud over my head," it's very visual. She can, see that. She sees that in books and TV shows and wherever else, real life, she's seeing clouds and she knows the difference between that. So I think that's a really cool way to communicate, especially when the kids are so young. Now, how does your the younger one is 2? How does he relate to that?
It's it's so common in our house to talk about it, and he kind of follows what his sister does. So I do have like a visual cloud pillow, and when it comes out, he'll know that Alma will say, let's give mom space and check on her. And then if he sees it, he'll come over, and their empathy is great because he'll be like, oh, and he just kind of gives hugs. And so they know like in that moment, mom might just need a hug. That's my love language. And we kind of talk about when Alma's having, she calls it her tornado. I'll tell my son, I was like, Alma has a tornado, and he knows like that means don't go in her room. So let her go in her room until she wants to come out. That's what she does. And so he started to do his where he decided he's a rock. And so he will just get down and like, he'll be like, this is my rock. And I'm like, okay. So we each have kind of our things to show each other. We need space. And it's good in the personal space age.
Yeah.
So working on kind of personifying what we're feeling.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so cool that everyone has their own, like it's not like everyone has a cloud, right? Everyone has their
Mm.
own little analogy. So that is so fun. And your book is called Cloudy Day Chronicles. So can you share what some of the stories are in there?
So the Cloudy Day Chronicles are going to be a series. I kind of signed on to do 3 books with my fantastic illustrator, Juliana. The first book is Mom's Cloud and the Beach Adventure. I'm working on the second one now. Eventually, I kind of walked away from it for a little bit, but we decided we're going to go to the park. And I don't know which title. Alma helps me write stuff. So her titles are kind of in my my F pile. And then the third one is going to be about just being at home. And my goal with them is to really represent the different styles of depression. So mine is more high functioning. The beach adventure is I will still go out. I will still be at the party. I will still be present and be in the activities, but I will be there different. And then the park one is more about those who can't get themselves to go. So mom goes to the park and she just has to stay in one spot. And then the house one is going to be about sometimes you just need to stay in bed and shut all of the things and kind of check in. And so I'm trying to represent what different clouds rolling in can look like for different people and then link them because I love that I've got kind of approval to do a lot of back of the book resources and I've been sharing on my Substack resources to say, this is what mine looks like and this is what helps me, but here's everything out here to represent different versions of it, different places you can go for resources and supports.
Nice. And it's not just different people, right? The same person can have that different level of depression,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a couple days or a couple months or whatever apart. So it's really great that you're showcasing all the things and like, yeah, some days I'm just going to lock myself in the room and that's okay. And some days I'll be at the party with you or the beach, but I may not be like, totally in the water or anything with you. I'll just be sitting and hanging out. So that's pretty neat. All right. Well, talk about your pay it forward program that you're doing.
So again, when I think about, what is the goal of the book, it's not just like sales and I told my husband like return on investment. Ooh, no. Someone even said with everything I'm doing, because I got a school speaking series and they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you to sell stuff. And I was like, oh no, I donated so many copies of the book. But the goal is really for resource and support. So the Pay It Forward program is designed in a way where if you are just buying the book, I take part of my proceeds from the books, and each month I'm picking a different mental health organization and donating the proceeds to it. The first month I started with our merriment maker. She does a lot of acts of kindness joy missions. So we're funding some of the acts of kindness out in the world. We're collaborating with a no-kill animal shelter for February, and for March, we're helping to fund a scholarship for women getting out of abusive relationships for Women's Month. And so I'm just meeting all of these fantastic mental health organizations to kind of pay it forward back to them with any proceeds, as well as a pay it forward bundle. So people can purchase a pay it forward bundle, which is a copy of the book for themselves. And then a copy is given to either someone they know that's a mental health organization, school, therapy center, or if they don't know one off the top of their head, we're kind of creating a wait list and we're giving them. So it's been exciting. We have had a couple people in the pre-orders do that, and donate to like their school, their kids' schools for their counselors, as well as like a therapy center. So I'm just really excited. Because it's about getting like the shared language out there to just say, it's okay to not be okay. And kind of here's how we just say, I'm having a cloudy day, and you can have that language out and about.
What a great idea. I love that you can get this book into like schools and libraries and, maybe even homeless shelters for families or wherever. And that's so great. Just a really nice way to spread awareness and showcase, how to deal with depression or anxiety or stress, how to communicate this with your kids. I love that they're so young, but they understand it. Right. And I can't
Yeah.
imagine like as they grow older and they're still going to realize that, but then you can start using, better language and communicate more on what they're feeling. And so I really love what you're doing out in the world. And your
And
first
it's
book is
fun.
out, right? It's already out.
It is, I mean, by the time this airs, it'll next day. I think we're
Excellent.
like a week away. We're a week away. Um, But yesterday I tested it. So I'm speaking at a school. So I texted my neighbor and I was like, can I borrow your kids for 30 minutes? And, I kind of opened up with, we're going to talk about feelings, and schools, they do really well with it. They talk about, feelings are the four colors and happy, sad and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, we're going to talk about parent feelings today. And that's not something kids talk about a lot. And so we kind of read the book and we did interactive things during it, because it's just a fun beach story. So I didn't want it to be heavy. So it's very fun. And then we talked about, in the book, mom is sitting and she needs her time. We had little coloring activities. And I felt like I was like so worried, because people think, and what you hear from like traditional publishing is like it's too young for kids. But I was like, no, like I've done this with kids, with my friends' kids. And the second you just say, like, let's color our feelings, like, what color is your cloud? And they knew. She's like, well, my favorite color is red. So I'm going to color the cloud blue. And then blue is sad. And one cloud was yellow. And that was the sad, because they just don't like the color yellow. And it was like, and so they were able to easily grasp that I can create this image and know like that's how I'm feeling, and all you have to say is feelings. And then they kind of got it, and they were like, oh, like mom is sad. And I was like, yeah, it happens. So I reached out to that school immediately to be like, you guys are doing a great job, could I come like read for you, since you made it so easy for kids to
Yeah.
enjoy this? And so it's been nice that way to also just see and have that, it's the hope we all have for our kids, that we can talk about these things, and you don't want to hide it from them, because they're going to see it anyways. It's not like my kids don't see me sad, and just
Absolutely. Yeah.
have them, give them a language where they can be a part of that and not feel responsible or the weight of it.
Yeah. And they can express their own feelings too, right? As the time
Exactly.
comes. Yeah. Um, that is so fun. We used to read to our kids when they were like infants, all the way through kindergarten when they learned to read themselves. And um, I don't know, people, if they say they're too young, I don't agree with that, because you can tell a kid a story and they'll understand at least the pictures. They can ask questions, right? It's a great way for them to learn. So I think what you're doing again is amazing. How can people connect with you and get your book?
So my website is cloudydaychronicles.org. And then I'm also on Instagram at Cloudy Day Chronicles, and that's where I'm sharing a lot of the like mini updates, just kind of mom life and wellness updates and just real world. And it's been great too. Some people like share back some of their Cloudy Day stories, and we're kind of creating a community around it. And Substack, cloudydaychronicles.substack is where I'm going to have all the resources as I meet people and kind of put their information out there too. So it feels very like Macy Santa. Like if what I'm using doesn't help me, I'm hoping you find something that helps you on the blog or the Substack.
Yes, and go share your Cloudy Day stories with Kendall on her Instagram.
Yeah.
Awesome. This was so fun. I'm really excited about your project, and I will be watching your Instagram page and seeing the updates on the new books and things that are coming out. I think that's really great. So thank you, Kendall, for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And my listeners, you guys will hear from me again next week.
Are you struggling to be the best mom you can be? Are you fatigued, overwhelmed, and stressed out? Are you losing precious time with your family because of PMS? If so, sign up for my free gift on how to start living in tune with your monthly cycle. The link to get it is in the show notes below. Use this guide to help you start to eliminate your symptoms of PMS, increase your energy, reduce stress, and fully enjoy this incredible mom life. The way I see it, you have 3 choices. You can try to figure it all out on your own. You can do nothing and stay where you are, or you can get the customized guidance you need to thrive as a mom. The choice is yours. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something from these stories. If you enjoyed this show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast. It really helps this show grow. If you have a mom story you would like to share, click on the link in the description below on becoming a podcast guest. Remember, the content on this podcast is for general information only. It does not replace any medical advice given by your healthcare providers. Please check with your doctor if you have any questions about your specific condition and before starting any new diet or exercise regimen. Thank you, and you